eat through the fat. Oh yeah. Like I can't eat in the middle. I'm sorry. Can you eat the fat off the side so I can get to the middle? No way.
I'm nervous.
Here.
How are you gonna do this?
I don't know. Am I sweating? Can you get my brow? Kind of gnaw off the fat. There's a trash can. Got there. And I was nervous.
My name's Tom Mylan. I'm the butcher at Marlowe and Sons Diner, and I also butcher for the two Bonita restaurants. There's a four-restaurant group called King Luke, and we call it the King Luke Empire because they basically more or less made the South Side. They were the first people. Diner was the first restaurant to really open in the South Side, and that's where I work, and that's what I do. I butcher an entire steer every week and 3 to 4 pigs. It's about 18 to 2,000 pounds of meat a week. It's all local. It's all pastured. It's all right. It's all good. It's very delicious. I'm proud of what I do. Yeah, it wasn't my idea. I have to say that it was Sasha's idea. Sasha Davies. We met working at Murray's Cheese in the West Village. She was the affineur there. That's a person who turns and ages cheeses. We had been to the Fancy Food Show so many times, just acres of food, and most of it is stuff that's like, you know, FOB drop ship pallets of, you know, Chipotle wasabi flavored sun chips, and just, I'm not saying that food is bad, I'm just saying that food doesn't interest me and it doesn't interest her. It's just like this parade of nameless, faceless salesmen, and we wanted to do something different. And she came to me and she was like, I want to do an Unfancy Food Show. And I was like, fuck yes. I called her up and I was like, hey, I got the space. This big divey bar, like right around the corner. It's basically the path of least resistance. And she was like, oh, I thought you flaked out on it. I didn't call anybody. In the space of like 2.5 weeks, we got everybody on board, signed up, local producers, small production. You know, exactly the opposite of what the Fancy Food Show is. It's not people who, if those people wanted to, they couldn't make a pallet of stuff. So it started really small. We probably had 300 or 400 people the first year. And so we decided to do it again this year. And this year was insanity. We had twice as many producers, 2 writers. We had a guy who makes knives down in Gowanus. People who, you know, roast coffee in central Brooklyn. 2 brothers that make pickles. People who made pate, baked bread, like, you know, you name it. 2 ice cream people. 6 Point Brewery provided all the beer. My girlfriend says 1,400 people. I say 2,000. I'm an optimist, but we had a lot of people. We had so many people, like, we ran out of space. Like, people had to, like, people asked for their donation back because they couldn't actually get into the space to look at any of the food. They were like, we can't get in there. I mean, it's actually kind of lucky that it rained because it was so crowded. But I mean, I don't know. I just think that there's a lot more room for people to take the initiative and make things that are important to them, and have places to sell them, and like make a living making honest, good food. I'd like to call it regressive. Like, I wish that we could, I mean, in my secret heart, like, I wish we could kind of go back to the America of my grandfather, you know what I mean? Like, my grandfather could tell you, like, you know, tell you what the difference between like hard red winter wheat was and, like, you know, spring wheat, or, you know what I mean? Like, he could tell you where any steak was off of the cow, like where the cut was from. And I mean, he was just an average dude. He owned bars. One of the things I like to say when I teach my butchering classes, you know, when I'm trying to encourage people to like cure their own guanciale or make sausage or something like that, like something that seems totally out of their depth, I'm like, just remember that every asshole in the world, the people that like won't get out of your way so you can get off the subway, the people that cut you off on the BQE, like 500 years ago, those people were like curing their own hams, you know what I mean? Like, they were tilling earth. Like, you know what, it's not that hard. It's really not. And that's where the Unfancy Food Show comes from. It's not enough to eat food. You need to eat food that has the human component, that you know who's making it, why they're making it, and that's what we're trying to get back to with this whole thing. Because the average person knows best. Food is not that hard. It's not that scary. The aha moment as far as that goes for me was like, I bought a half gallon of raw milk. I drank about half of it. And then I got really busy and I forgot about it. It had separated into this like layer of firm stuff and then a layer of like clear stuff and this layer of cloudy stuff. I was like, God, that's disgusting. And then I started pouring it out and I smelled it. Oh, wait a minute. That firm stuff at the top, that's sour cream. If you don't pasteurize it, then the good bugs are already in there. It just turns into sour cream. This is where sour cream came from. And everything was great and everything was usable. And we ended up like taking the sour cream and eating it with pierogies. The bottom part was yogurt and I used it to like marinate chicken in. And there's been all these little moments along the way, like rediscovering things that have been sort of like, this is not the dread you're looking for, like occluded, made opaque to us in the food system. Matteo from Jasper Hill. He just built a 22,000 square foot facility that we refer to either as the Death Star or the undisclosed location. And it's a 7-cave complex that was like blasted out, literally out of Jasper Hill. It's an actual hill. And it's these cast concrete vaults. They're starting like the biggest affinage facility in America that I know of. I've heard that there is another big one that's in Wisconsin, but I don't know anything about that. Anyway, he's building this huge cave facility to age these cheddars and age his cheese and then age the cheese of all the different like small little cheese producers around him so that they can use economies of scale, use industry. By industry, I'm going to say economies of scale, to their own advantage. So they can stay small. These cheese producers are not going to produce like, you know, hundreds or millions of pounds, you know, hundreds of thousands of pounds or millions of pounds of cheese a year. What they are going to do is they're going to be able to make more cheese than they would have normally because Matteo is going to basically like make sure that they ripen as good as they can possibly ripen. And he's going to market it for them. He's going to ship it for them. And he's going to collect those bills for them. And so when you're a small cheese manufacturer and you have to like talk to everybody on the phone and you have to like pack FedEx boxes and you have to ship it and you have to do all that and you have to do the marketing. And there's not really that much time left to like milk the cows and make the fucking cheese. But if they can just like milk the cows, make the cheese, and then drop the green cheese off like at his place and they'll age it and they'll do everything and he gives them a really good return on their investment, like price wise, and then he turns around and sells it and he makes a little bit of profit on it to like keep the whole machine going. Like that's the new paradigm for me. That's what I think is like the new thing. Like it's the thing that's like making the medium size possible. Like he is the new paradigm for the medium size because he's taking small things and gathering them up together so they're one big thing, you know. Another, for instance, is Neiman Ranch. Neiman Ranch is the name of it. And so they figured out this template, and they basically like made themselves a brand that meant like meat that you could more or less believe in. They got all of these ranchers like throughout the Midwest and I think even into the Northeast to sort of get on board and like produce animals in the way that like to their specifications. And they were sold as Neiman Ranch beef, Neiman Ranch pork. And they've made a good go of it. And they've turned out like a fairly decent product. Like, I mean, it's personally not my favorite. Like I definitely deal with like meat that is a lot closer to home and like a lot better quality wise than theirs. Not to say that theirs is shitty because it's not. But yeah, they turn into this big business, and now they're like a huge name brand. It's like they co-brand with like Chipotle and stuff. It's like we use Neiman Ranch meats, but there's tons of paradigms out there. It's like that's how you do it, and not get gobbled up. Food is not hard. It's not dangerous. Anyone can do it. Everyone should do it.